they're exposing the articles that they should expose, that you would want to see actually in the search results.
You need to write something better, richer, and more useful than what's already out there.
Definitely, over optimizing is a negative factor for ranking.
Hello, everyone, and welcome at yet another episode of Site Spotlight. My name is Marieke van der Rakt, and I'm here with Taco Verdonschot. Taco, how are you doing today?
I'm really good. We have an interesting site in front of us.
A Dutch one. Luckily,
Yes.
we both speak Dutch.
Yeah, well, we do speak the language, so that
Yeah.
helps. But we'll help our audience understand there where it's needed to understand what we're talking about.
Everybody will be fluent in Dutch after this episode.
Absolutely. Let's just practice with everyone. Just
Yes.
repeat after us. Hypotheek rentetarieven.
It's very, very easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a good Scrabble word as well.
Yeah, so what can you tell me about the site that we're looking at today, Marieke?
Well, let's start at the homepage. Take a look at the homepage of hypotheekrentetarieven.nl. Well, the good thing here is that the purpose of this website, if you're Dutch, is instantly clear because this is a place where you can compare mortgage interest rates. That's hypotheekrentes. And it positions itself as independent. And that clarity, I think, is powerful. Visitors will know right away what the website is about. And I think the first headline is also very strong. It says, Vliegensvlug de beste hypotheekrente, which means very fast you'll get the best mortgage interest rate. So that's short, that's catchy, that's also memorable. I think the problem comes with this sentence underneath. That's a little bit too long, and that makes it harder to process. And it would be much more effective to break that up into short, punchy sentences. For example, like vergelijk onafhankelijk alle banken. Vind de laagste hypotheekrente. Ontvang een persoonlijk hypotheekaanbod. So, and right below the call to action, if you scroll a little bit down, there's some nice, a little bit more down. Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit more. Oh, that's a little bit low. There's some social proof that I was looking at. Reviews
proof.
and I don't know where
Yes,
it's there.
here it
Yeah.
is.
So you'll see some trust indicators. I think those work well. I do think that if there would be a picture with it, that would have been much stronger.
Yeah, and
I
I'm
think
not sure where they've been posted. There's nothing I
I don't
can
know either.
click.
I know it either. So it looks well. I think that font is too small, and the letters and the lines are much cluttered together. So that's something to improve on. The fact that they have social proof, that they have reviews, that works well, I think. On the homepage, but that's a little bit more up, you also see some clear examples of how rates and how providers are compared. There's a menu that helps you filter based on your own situation. Like what you see now, ik wil graag een eerste huis kopen. I want to buy my first house. So that's all very good. I only have one thing. There's also an about us section. They also link towards that from the homepage, but you can also get it into the menu, and that's where I think things feel weaker. When you click through there, what you just did, Taco, the content is more about why the company was founded instead of who they actually are. So it doesn't answer the question who's behind this, and I think that is a bit missed opportunity here. So adding some personality here, faces, names, a story, that would go a long way in building some more trust. And then another point, what I have in the homepage is I see a lot of repetition. And in some ways that's good because it reinforces the message, but it also gets like boring. So all in all, strong headline, but break that down, that supporting text. And I really need some more human elements. Who are the people behind this company? Why are they trustworthy and independent? I would improve the typography, but I've already talked more about that in different episodes. I'm getting blind or old or something. I need more bigger font sizes and more spacing, more breathing room. And I would reduce unnecessarily repetition so the whole flow will feel a little bit smoother. So that's my opinion about the homepage, Taco. What do you got?
So about the homepage, what I really do like is the style of
Yes,
these images.
I like that too.
Um, it's I mean
It's fun.
recognizable. It's fun. It's playful, and that for a topic as boring as mortgage interest rates.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
I
it's pretty
like that
boring.
it has this bit of personality, even though we
Yeah.
don't know who's behind the site. So the site has a lot of content,
Yeah.
and that's fine. And we'll talk about content later. But from a technical perspective, I was wondering, how do you get there? So if we take a look at the sitemap, you can see, and let me make this a little bit bigger so that you can actually see it. There's a lot of articles, and this is even a small part. This is just the knowledge base. There's
Yeah.
131 articles written in that knowledge base. But if we go back to the website and we go to the knowledge base, then we see a couple,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can load more. But it's really hard to find a specific bit because
Yeah.
there's no search option whatsoever on
No
the site.
categories?
And if you look at the articles themselves, I'm not sure the site is meant for you to search through.
Mhm.
It might just be different landing pages. Uh, but if you have this overview, please add a search bar so that people can actually find the stuff that they're looking for.
Are there any categories, Taco? Because that could help as well.
None that I could find
I would
quickly.
also do that both for usability as well as for Google, because Google also crawls through categories that could give you like a hierarchy to help point Google towards your most important content.
Yeah, no, there's related articles
Yeah,
in the knowledge base, but there doesn't seem to be a category of
or tag.
sorts that groups anything. So that's definitely an opportunity for improvement.
Yes.
Now, we were just looking at the sitemap. Let's quickly go back to that, but then one step up, because one of the things that we've been, oh, that was the wrong button.
There was too much steps up.
Yep, too much steps back. So one of the things that we've been seeing in the past is that the sitemap had post and post tags and all of that. The interesting thing is, since we did our prep and right now live on the site, there has been a category we removed from the
Mm.
sitemap because there was a post tag showing in the sitemap as well. The good thing is that it wasn't bloated. So there was a healthy ratio between posts and post tags. And from what I can see, all of the items that are in the sitemap actually do make sense. So
Mm-hmm.
they're exposing the articles that they should expose, that you would want to see actually in the search results. Now, the other thing we've done for multiple sites already is take a look at the site structure
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to structured data, so
Mm-hmm.
schema.org.
Yeah.
And one of the articles, let me take a random URL and get that. Yes, this is a very random URL. If we do a visualization on that one, what we will see is that it's neatly connected. So it takes some time to do the full analysis of the page, but you can see that this is actually a nicely connected schema graph with the website in the center, the web
Yeah.
page, and everything is nicely connected to the web page. So that means that consumers of the schema have a good understanding of how the different elements on this page relate to each other. So that's really well done.
Yeah. But that's they use Yoast SEO, which
Yes,
does this for you if you give it the right information, right? So there's
absolutely.
also something from the website owner, but Yoast does a really good job in this.
Yep. the last thing that I really wanted to look at is the page speed.
Yeah.
Because if we look at this overview, you can see that it's almost all in the greens. That looks
Hmm.
fine.
Yeah.
But if we scroll down a little bit further on mobile, we can see that there's some issues with performance. And if we take a deeper dive, we're talking about a first contentful paint um, of 3.8 seconds. That means it takes almost 4 seconds before your browser starts showing meaningful information on the page. And the largest element that is contentful that needs to be painted takes about 9 seconds. And that is absolutely horribly slow.
Okay.
The interesting thing is that I see these in the page speed results, but when clicking through the site, it doesn't feel like this. So it'd be worth to take a look at the suggestions that Google gives you on PageSpeed Insights to see where you can shave off some of that time, um, because it might affect your site negatively, even
Hmm.
though the look and feel on the front end is quite okay. It's not as bad as it seems when you look at these numbers.
And is this on mobile? Because maybe it's on mobile, it's worse than on desktop.
Definitely, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is on mobile.
Yeah.
Um, as such, I've tested it on my mobile phone as well,
As well. Okay.
and it still doesn't feel as slow as this data suggests. So
Mhm.
it there is something happening. The challenge is that page speed is one of the ranking factors,
Yes.
and the largest contentful paint is one of the ranking factors that makes up the whole core web vitals. So if Google sees that it's slow, it might negatively affect your site, which would be a waste.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing is I looked at what's being loaded, and if we take a look at some of the render blocking requests, what we see is that there's quite a few references to WP Sentry,
Hmm.
and that's an analysis tool that will send data from your site to a server for analysis on are there any errors on the page, is there anything going wrong. So if you're not actively doing something with that data, it might not be worth loading all those scripts on your page.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's part of an experiment, then know that it has a negative effect on the front end loading of your site, but it might be worth it if you're troubleshooting an issue, for example. But that seems to be the major slowdown are the elements that are connected to WP Sentry, because there's quite a few of them in this list.
Of course, I also wanted to take a look at the actual content of this website. And Taco already said there's a lot of content. So I looked at two blogs. And the first blog I looked at was Nationaal Fonds Betaalbare Koopwoningen, which translates to a national fund for affordable houses to buy. So right away, I noticed something that was missing from the About page. Here we actually see an author name and a picture. So that's good news because having a real person connected to the article builds trust and authority. It shows there's someone out there that's responsible for what's written. And that's important for both users as for SEO. We know that Google puts more and more emphasis on the EEAT, so experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So showing who the writer is and ideally adding a short bio, because we don't see that here, maybe a link to their other work, that strengthen this even more. And that will help you both for users as for Google. I think the article itself is solid. It's easy to read, the sentences are short, and there is enough subheadings to guide the eye. However, it feels over optimized. I think the terms koopfonds and nationaal koopfonds, if even if you're not Dutch, you can see it. I think they're repeated too often and then it feels unnatural. If you put that word in your heading every time, then these headings have lost their function, because these headings are supposed to guide you through the text, but now you just see that word over and over. So that's not good. And I also think that Google will not like this anymore, because maybe it used to work, especially for Dutch, because Dutch is a small language area and Google wasn't that capable of understanding Dutch. But nowadays, I think it is. So the second block I checked, Taco, was
Yes.
nieuwbouw of bestaande bouw, which means, should I build a new house or should I buy one that already exists? And I see the same approach. I see the same person as well. I think the writing is clear, it's well structured, but it's too focused on hammering on one search term. So clearly, this block wants to rank for a nieuwbouw of bestaande bouw, which basically means choosing between buying a brand new house or an existing home. And I understand that because it's a pretty like competitive market. I googled it, nieuwbouw versus bestaande bouw, and the article showed up on page 3, and so that's not very good. And honestly, that doesn't surprise me. It's an incredible competitive keyword. The article itself doesn't add that much. That's brand new. It's well written, but it's also a bit boring. So I think it doesn't really help people to make that tough decision between a new house or one that already exists. So here's the thing: in a crowded market, you can't, or you can't anymore, just write articles only to rank. Not in organic, but I don't think it will work for Google Ads in the long run either. So you need to add something fresh. You offer deeper insight, offer personal experience, real data, or even tools to help the reader. Because otherwise your content will just blend in with all of the other ones. So my takeaways for the content: having an author is a step in the right direction, but they should be more visible and credible. They should really have a real face. Watch out for that keyword stuffing. It hurts readability. It doesn't guarantee rankings. I even think it could like backfire,
Yeah,
because Google
as
is,
recent as this week,
yeah,
one of the people at Google called Danny Sullivan said at WordCamp US that definitely over optimizing is a negative factor for ranking.
yeah, and that makes sense, right? Because it's harder to read, and not that nice of a read. Imagine reading a book in which a word is like constantly repeated. That's just not a nice read.
Yeah.
So most important, I think that's the don't publish content just for the sake of SEO. That's just, I think that's 2015. That's when this worked. You need to write something better, richer, and more useful than what's already out there. Especially considering the fact that a lot of people don't search in Google anymore, but in ChatGPT. And in order to rank in ChatGPT, you really will need to add something, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add? Because you also add things,
Yeah.
Taco.
So, um, I mean, this is a topic that everyone hates probably because no one is looking into mortgages for fun. The fun part is buying the house, but not
Yeah, but
getting
not
it
so.
funded. Um, and so it's valuable that there are articles that help you understand some of this complicated matter. Um, but like you said before, it has to be more unique because you could copy paste this text to any other site with any other author and it would be 90% similar. Um, and that's a shame. There's an opportunity to do better and to really attach people to your brand and to what you are doing and what you are, the value you are offering. Let's take a look at accessibility. Because there's a few colors on this page, and one of the more prominent colors is the green.
Right.
And the green, compared to the white, has a very, very low contrast ratio.
Hmm.
So if we would put this in the contrast checker, um, I already did my homework and I know that the foreground is completely white and the background is the green. and then we can see that it completely fails the contrast
Yeah.
ratio. So that means all the text that is white on the green background is not accessible. Now, if we go back to the site, you can see that that is a significant part of
Of the
all the
button.
buttons and all the
Hmm.
information on the site that's in the white and green. So there's definitely an opportunity to do a lot better to make the key elements of your site better accessible.
Maybe use a darker shade of green. That could help, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So if we look at the Web Aim tool, one of the things it allows us is to just drag, and I'll scroll
Yeah.
down a little bit so you can see what happens here with the scores. But if I drag it a little bit to the left, and especially because most of it is small text, you can see that by making it a little bit
Yeah.
darker, you can pass all of the requirements for the WCAG, which is the standard for accessibility.
Yeah.
So absolutely, making it a little bit darker makes it pass. If you don't want to go AAA, you can even go a little bit less um, and have
Yeah.
it a little bit lighter green. But be aware that you won't meet the AAA standard
Yeah.
in that case. Um, the other thing that's interesting is keyboard navigation. So
Mm.
if I go back to the site, let me reload the site. I can immediately skip to the content. Ga naar inhoud is skip to content in Dutch, which is very nice. It allows me to completely skip the menu. It has an outline for where I am, so you can see that it's currently on the gray button. I can now go back to the red button, and
Yeah.
that says calculate my max mortgage.
Yeah.
Now, that ends up with a tool. I can
Yeah.
go there, and this is where accessibility starts to hurt a little bit. So I jump to the content, and now I want to pick the third option in this select. So
Mhm.
I jump to uh, this form, and I use my down button to go to the third option. Well, no, I don't, because as soon as it detects that something is selected, which is what happens when I go down, it immediately jumps to the next
Question.
question. So if I want to go to any other um, option than the top one, because if I tap through it, I go to the previous button. So
So you're
if
stuck.
I can only do the first by selecting this one, or the second, and now it already selected something I don't want.
Hmm.
So the form is not properly keyword accessible, and that is a problem
Yeah.
for screen reader users, for anyone who can't use a mouse. So I hope that this is something they will fix
Yeah.
because
This
it's
is
really
also
problematic.
the main thing of their website. So it's
Yes.
also in their interest to have everybody be able to calculate their mortgage rate or
Yep.
yeah,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. So it is indeed. It's the main part of the website that now doesn't allow people who cannot use a mouse
Hmm.
to do the calculation. Um, it's problematic. So
Yeah.
please, please, please improve this.
Fix it. I like Dutch websites. Very easy for me,
Yeah, analyzing them is definitely easier than English or even another language that we don't speak.
especially other languages.
Yeah,
But
we
we'll
did
do
a
that
German
too.
one. Yep,
Yes, and we can do that because even if you have it in French or something, I can do a little bit of French. We can we have translators, so we can do sites in any language, right?
absolutely. So if you
Yeah.
have a site and you want us to take a look, definitely don't hesitate. Reach out. For this site, in summary, it's a contentful site,
Hmm.
but it lacks personality. There are some improvements to the site speed, there's some improvements to accessibility, and a lot of improvements to Who are you and why should we trust you?
Well, that's it for today. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.